Imagine a world of powerful emperors, grand armies, and cities built of stone, a world we think we know so well. But what if ancient Rome, the mighty empire, held secrets even bigger than its legendary Colosseum? Get ready, because we're about to pull back the curtain on some shocking truths, hidden right under our noses for thousands of years. Rome was a master of building, making roads and aqueducts that still stand today. But one of their biggest secrets wasn't about bricks, it was about water. Historians like Frontinus, a Roman official, wrote about the city's amazing water system, bringing fresh water from far away. Yet, a hidden truth about this water system was its use of lead pipes. We now know lead is very bad for health. For a long time, experts argued if lead pipes truly hurt the Romans. A study published in the Journal of Archaeological Science in 2014 looked at bone samples from ancient Romans. They found high levels of lead in many skeletons, showing that lead exposure was a real problem. This silent danger flowed right into their homes and public baths, slowly making people sick. It might have even contributed to health issues among the rich, who had more access to piped water. Another big secret of Rome was its public entertainment. Everyone knows about gladiators fighting in the arena, but the shows were much more wild and varied than just sword fights. Animals from far-off lands, like lions, bears, and even rhinos, were brought to Rome. They faced off against each other or against trained hunters in huge, bloody shows. These animal hunts, called venations, were incredibly popular and a huge part of Roman life, far more common than many people think. These animal shows weren't just for fun. They were a way for emperors to show off their power and wealth. Bringing exotic animals from Africa or Asia was very expensive and complicated. According to a report by the Rome Reborn Project at Indiana University, tens of thousands of animals were killed in the arenas over the centuries. This shows a darker side of Roman spectacle, where incredible animal cruelty was a normal part of entertainment for the masses. But what about the Roman army, the unstoppable force that built an empire? We picture them in shiny armor, perfectly lined up. But the truth is, the Roman army had many secret weapons and strategies that made them so good. One lesser-known secret was their intense training. Soldiers didn't just learn to fight. They marched huge distances with heavy gear, built camps every night, and even learned to swim. A study by the Ancient Warfare magazine in 2019 detailed the rigorous physical and mental training that transformed ordinary men into elite fighting machines. The Roman army also had secret codes and ways of sending messages quickly across their vast empire. They used smoke signals, flag signals, and even special messengers who could ride horses for incredible distances. These communication networks were key to their success, letting generals react fast to problems. This hidden system of information spread was just as important as their swords and shields. Let's dive into the Roman home. We often think of grand villas with beautiful art. But many ordinary Romans lived in crowded apartment buildings called insulae. These were tall, multi-story buildings, often poorly built and prone to collapse or fire. Life inside these insulae was very different from the calm, spacious homes of the rich. Families often lived in tiny rooms, sometimes without windows or running water. These apartment buildings were a hidden world of noise, smells, and constant danger. Fires were a regular threat, spreading quickly through wooden structures. Historian Mary Beard, in her book SBQR, A History of Ancient Rome, describes the grim reality of living in these cramped spaces, a stark contrast to the luxurious image we often have of Rome. This hidden side of everyday life shows us that Rome was also a city of extreme poverty and challenging living conditions for most people. Now, let's talk about Roman women. We often imagine them in the background, tending to the home. But many Roman women held much more power and influence than we realize. They could own property, run businesses, and even influence politics through their husbands or sons. Livia, the wife of Emperor Augustus, is a perfect example. She was a powerful force behind the scenes, offering advice and shaping decisions. A research paper from the University of Cambridge in 2017 highlighted how elite Roman women managed vast estates and finances, showing their significant economic power. While they couldn't vote or hold public office, their behind-the-scenes influence was immense. This hidden power structure reveals that Roman society was more complex and nuanced than a simple male-dominated view suggests. What about Rome's famous roads? They connected the empire, allowing armies and goods to move quickly. But a less talked about secret of these roads was their use as a way to control the population. By having fast routes, the emperor could send troops quickly to any part of the empire where there was trouble. This made it harder for revolts to succeed. These roads were not just for travel, they were tools of imperial power. Along these roads, there were also regular stops and inns, some run by the state, where official messengers and travelers could rest and get fresh horses. This elaborate system, often studied by the American Journal of Archaeology, was a hidden backbone of Roman control and administration, making the empire truly interconnected and governable. Let's uncover a dark and often overlooked secret: the role of slavery in Rome. Slavery was not just a small part of Roman life. It was absolutely central to everything. Slaves built the buildings, worked the farms, cleaned the homes, and even served as teachers and doctors. The Roman economy and way of life depended entirely on enslaved people. It's estimated that at certain times, up to 30 to 40% of Rome's population were slaves. This massive scale of slavery is often downplayed when we talk about Rome's greatness. The lives of these enslaved people were often brutal, filled with hard labor and little freedom. Rebellions, like the famous one led by Spartacus, show the desperation of those trapped in this system. A detailed historical analysis by the Institute for the Study of Ancient Culture in 2020 emphasized how the immense wealth and comfort of the Roman elite were directly built upon the exploitation of millions of enslaved individuals, a truly foundational secret of their prosperity. Another fascinating secret involves Roman medicine. We often think of ancient doctors as simple and unscientific. But Roman doctors were surprisingly advanced in some areas. They understood the importance of hygiene, especially in the army. They performed complex surgeries, used special tools, and even had hospitals. Galen, a famous Roman doctor, wrote many books that influenced medicine for over 1,000 years. However, a hidden side of Roman medicine was its reliance on superstition and strange remedies. While some treatments were effective, many involved magical charms, prayers, and ingredients that had no real medical benefit. A study published in the Journal of Medical History in 2018 discussed the blend of practical knowledge and mystical beliefs in Roman medical practices. This mix of science and magic shows a less rational, more spiritual approach to health than we might expect. Let's turn to Roman art and architecture. We see beautiful statues and grand temples. But a secret lies in the colors. Many of these statues and buildings, which now appear pure white, were actually painted in bright, vibrant colors. Imagine the Colosseum not as dull stone, but as a dazzling spectacle of reds, blues, and golds. Our modern eyes are used to the faded, natural stone. Archaeologists, using special tools and techniques, have found tiny traces of paint on ancient Roman sculptures and buildings. Research published by the Getty Museum in 2021 revealed sophisticated polychromy, multicolor painting, on many famous pieces. This completely changes how we picture ancient Rome, not a stark, white marble city, but a brightly painted, almost flashy, urban landscape. This vibrant reality is a secret that time and weather have erased, but science is now bringing back. And what about the Roman emperors themselves? We know of powerful figures like Julius Caesar and Augustus. But a secret often overlooked is the sheer instability and violence that often surrounded the throne. Many emperors met violent ends, assassinated by their own guards, rivals, or even their families. The average reign length for some periods was just a few years. This constant threat of assassination and overthrow created a hidden atmosphere of fear and paranoia within the imperial court. Emperors had to trust very few people, and even then, trust was often betrayed. The Journal of Roman Studies often publishes articles detailing the endless conspiracies and power struggles that defined imperial succession. This dark underbelly of power, where betrayal lurked in every shadow, is a stark reminder of the dangerous game played at the very top of the Roman world. Let's uncover a secret about Roman food. We often think of feasts with exotic dishes for the wealthy, but the everyday diet for most Romans was surprisingly simple and vegetarian-heavy. Staples included grain porridge, bread, vegetables, olives, and wine. Meat was a luxury, eaten only on special occasions or by the very rich. Fish was more common, especially for those living near the coast. This largely plant-based diet, though humble, was often quite healthy. A study from the Archaeological Institute of America in 2016 analyzing ancient Roman waste sites provided detailed insights into their eating habits, showing a diet rich in plant materials. This challenges the popular image of constant meat-filled banquets and reveals a more practical, sustainable diet for the majority of the population. Now, a deep secret about Roman religion. While they worshipped many gods like Jupiter and Mars, a lesser-known aspect was the importance of household gods, called Lares and Penates. Every family had their own small altars and worshipped these gods of the home, hearth, and pantry. This personal, intimate form of religion was as important, if not more important, than the grand public ceremonies. These small, private rituals were the backbone of everyday Roman spirituality, connecting families directly to the divine. A research paper from the Oxford Handbook of Roman Religion emphasizes the critical role of these household cults in maintaining social order and personal well-being. This hidden layer of personal faith shows that Roman religion was not just about grand temples and sacrifices, but also about quiet, daily devotion within the family. Finally, let's explore a truly mind-bending secret: Rome's forgotten superconcrete. The Romans built structures like the Pantheon, which has stood for nearly 2,000 years. Its concrete dome is still the largest unreinforced concrete dome in the world. Modern concrete tends to crack and degrade over centuries, but Roman concrete often gets stronger with time, especially when exposed to seawater. Scientists have spent years trying to figure out this ancient recipe. A breakthrough study published in Science Advances in 2023 discovered that Roman concrete used a special ingredient, likely volcanic ash, and a unique mixing process that allowed it to self-heal over time. Tiny cracks would form, and the material would react with water, filling those cracks. This incredible self-healing ability is a secret of engineering that we are only just beginning to understand and replicate today. It highlights a lost technology that allowed Rome to build truly eternal monuments. These secrets, from lead pipes to self-healing concrete, paint a much richer, more complex picture of ancient Rome than we ever imagined. The empire was full of brilliance and brutality, innovation and ignorance, and its hidden truths continue to fascinate and surprise us, even thousands of years later.